Alright, good morning YouTube. Today we have a 1993 SEARS special fiberglass boat, and it is in terrible rough shape, and it's been sitting out in the weather, I don't know, 20 years, 30, I don't know. It's a mess. It's bad. It's gonna take some work. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan out the boat and plan out a new floor plan, because I really don't like the way this one I mean, it works, it's functional, but it feels like to me that the front's kind of crowded and I could extend the deck. And here in a second I'm going to show the boat and show you everything that I plan to do for it. I'm going to draw some plans and show that. It's going to be like a step-by-step process. And this being my first video and all, so just be easy on the comments. You know, I'm trying my best. You know, you should see my little camera setup. It's not the best, and you know, I'm going to edit this the best I can. But we're just going to take it day by day, and hopefully I can grow this channel a little bit. I'd like to show people that you can take something and work on it and make it good again. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take y'all around and show y'all the boat, okay? Let's talk about it. Okay, so this is the boat. It came with a new deck that I'm probably not even going to use it. Honestly, the guy was just like, you know, I cut the deck and I put it on there. I was going to try to restore it, but it was just too much work for him. So, you know, I don't like the functionality of the deck, you know. So it has a seat that goes up here, which is nice, but it kind of crowds your casting deck. You know, it's nice to be able to stand. I plan on maybe extending the deck back almost to this seat here, extending it maybe another 2 foot or maybe 1.5 foot backwards. And you know, you won't be able to really do a cutout for your feet, so it's kind of like you're sitting, you know, you'll have your room to sit, you know, and you can still spin around and all that. But you know, most of the time I'm not gonna have but 2 people on this boat, even though it says it's three people, 800 pounds. I'm just not gonna do it. You know, they got the battery up here. It's got a marine battery on it, which I have another battery, you know. It's got like a little compartment that I you know, I'll probably end up keeping at some point. I'll have to refiberglass this, you know, to make sure it holds my weight. I'm gonna put a door on this for the storage, you know, seal that up with a nice seal so water doesn't get back in it. And basically it could be my battery compartment, but I kind of like this, you know. I kind of like that, you know. It kind of hides it. I'm gonna have to take this up anyway at some point and pull it up, because every bit of this floor, whoever just let it sit, you can see the cracks run. It flexes real bad. It kind of flexes all the way back. It's got these, if you can see, I got some fiberglass already, because I'm gonna be laying a lot of it in this lovely North Carolina weather. One day it's 57, the next is 90. Good God almighty. But I got some live wheels, you know, little bait wheels that, you know, it's got little plugs in it. And I mean, I like it, but I kind of want to, I don't know if I want to get rid of this seat altogether and just bring a deck back all the way and have these still here. Because, I mean, I'm going to have to cut these out too, because the whole floor is going to have to come up. So I'm going to have to refiberglass this whole boat back in, basically. You know, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. But, again, you know, we try to, in the Tiny Boat Nation, we try to bring back stuff that has been abandoned. And that's kind of where I want to be, you know. Like, I didn't have to pay anything for this boat. I'm just letting y'all know. I got a little 15 horsepower motor, and we're going to be working on that. I'm going to show y'all how to do, you know, change a impeller on it, do like a little bit of carburetor work on it. But other than that, the motor does run, but it's kind of like, you know, it needs a little love, you know. It's been sitting a while. But here is the back of the boat, the back seat. And you can see that it is a ton, I mean, it's rotten. It's rotten all the way through. I'm gonna take this little tool right here, which I'm gonna get me some more blades. You know, this one's not very good right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut as close to this wall as I possibly can get without going into the hole. I'll probably come like a 1/4 inch off of that because the boat curves in. So if I cut straight down, I'm probably going to end up cutting into the hole. So I'm going to come out here a little bit and leave just a little bit to see where I'm at. You know, just a little bit, because there's stringers in this boat that one feels pretty solid. Like it's pretty solid here. So I think I got a stringer here, or it's the old floor, like the old subflooring has basically rotted away, which I'm going to have to replace. It does not look like this boat is on center, because if you look down this one, you can kind of see how that seat kind of jets out behind this one. So this seat is not in the middle, which I don't like. I like to be my center of gravity to be directly in the middle of the boat. That's where all your weight shifts. So the better centered it is, the better it's going to travel. That's just physics of water, you know. Low center of gravity. But that's, yeah, and I'm gonna have to cut that one out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut me a little tang. I'm gonna cut around this seat. I'm gonna leave me a little flange about maybe, I don't know, about 2 inches thick all the way around the boat. And then I'm going to reinforce that with fiberglass when I put it back, before I put it back on. And then glass it back into the boat. I'm going to put new subflooring down so I can rivet. I'm going to rivet it to the wood and just fiberglass over the rivets. Because I don't, you know, honestly, I don't want to ever hopefully pull this seat back up again. I mean, I could screw it to the top, so if I ever had problems. But I want to make sure that it's just got a secure when I get in the boat walking, you know, because I'm going to do a little bit of walking. You know, that's why I kind of don't want to bring the deck back too much, because I have all of this to walk on. And I'm one of those people, you know, I see those people walking on top of boats. And you know, and it scares me to walk on top of a boat. I don't know what it is about being in the water, you know, standing on it, throws your center of gravity off. You start rocking, you get that death rock, and then you're in the water. I just don't. I'm not trying to get wet, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna turn y'all back around. But yeah, that's the boat. That's kind of like my plans for it. I'm trying to keep y'all up here and interested in my face. But that's kind of my plan for the boat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just record what I can. You know, I might have to like add some stuff in, take some stuff out. I'm going to edit it the best I can. But so I'm going to go and start taking measurements, because I want to put stuff kind of, you know, in the middle, so I can draw a plan on paper. And when I get that plan up and running, you know, I'll show all the measurements. I just don't think I think it's boring to sit there and measure. I mean, I hope some of y'all know how to measure, you know, width, height, length, to figure out what you want to do as far as a flooring plan in this boat. So I'll be back when I get the drawing up and the measurements. So this is kind of my like rough draft. You know, it's not scale. You know, I can hear people right now, oh, it's not up to scale. Yeah, whatever, okay? I'm not an artist. I'm not an engineer. So this is what we got. So, you know, I got my seat, my rear seat here. Remember, it was 7 inches across, you know, to the middle. It's 14 inches across all the way. So dead center would be 7 inches. Then my total length of the back of the boat was 37 inches. So it's 18 inches on that side. So what I would do is measure over 18.5 inches over, mark a place, and then line that 7-inch mark up on the seat, and then I would be dead center of the boat. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That is dead center from the measurements. The same thing up here, except it's 35 inches across. Which makes no sense how in the world, when you get here, it tapers off 2 inches from here to here, the measurement. So it's 35 inches here, and it's 39 inches, excuse me, that would be 4 inches tapered up from here to here. I'm guessing that they just made it a little wider. I don't know why they did that. When they come back to the live well, you know, the boat starts curving in this direction, and it's kind of doing that little arc the whole way up the boat, you know, so it kind of starting to take shape, you know, up at the front where it can round off and get you this kind of like the point it had on the deck, you know. So if I connect kind of like that and kind of like, I don't know, so I'm doing a rough boat here, kind of like that, which is rough, but it's kind of what the front looked like, you know. When you got up front, it kind of had the deck on it up here, and it kind of looks like, I mean, it kind of looks, don't hold me to a science here, you know, kind of like that. But anyway, so my plan is to bring back this deck back here, bring it back, and then cut me out a hole for you to sit in, like that. And then bring it across, kind of like that. So you get, I mean, it's not much of a difference, but you get a little bit more deck. Maybe not in the middle, but like I could put something over here like a fish finder, and it would be closer to you, you know. And maybe even, you know, a foot-controlled trolling motor, you know, instead of a standing up here controlling it, I could put the foot pedal in the floor right here underneath, because remember, there's a cutout there, and just steer the boat from up front right here. So I don't really have to, you know, necessarily sit up here at all. And that's kind of what I want to get away from. I don't want to seat up front. I don't want 3 people in this boat. I just think it's best to maximize room. Now, some people would say, you know, I should just get rid of this seat altogether and put it on top if I'm going to have that person riding or whatever. And just bring the deck back all the way back here and just have a flush deck from there to there. I don't know. I just don't. I kind of don't like that. I don't know why. I could then close the bait wheels. You know, it's kind of, you know, this is what we'll do. Okay? So, if I get, let's just say I get 100. No, let's go. If I get 500 views. If I get 500 views on this, and 500, and say I get 200 comments, you know, I'll vote the most comments on this boat. You know, how they want the deck. Do they want the deck up front and me round it out like this so you can ride and control it from here? That's what I like about this design, is being able to sit at the front of the boat, drive the boat sitting down instead of sitting on top of that deck, and because it's not a wide boat. I mean, we're talking a total of 37 inches. So, you know, I'm going to be riding in a lake mostly, and maybe the intercoastal waterway. You know, it's calm there, but there's other boats. You know, you got to think, if I'm sitting here on top of this and I'm getting a swell or a wave and rocking, I kind of want to be more center while doing that. You know, more into the boat, deeper, because you have better state. You know, the higher up you are, the more likely you're going to rock this boat and turn it over. It's just, that's the facts. The higher up you are in the boat, you're going to turn this boat over. And that's something I'm not putting all this work into this boat to flip it over and get salt water all in it. Yeah, I'm not looking at that. So, but I will do, if I get 500 views, 200 comments, and we'll vote. Whoever has the most comments of how they want this boat, I'll do it that way. How about that? I'll close all of this in. My bait wheels will be underneath the deck. It'll look like a real bass boat, kind of. And that's kind of not what I'm looking for. I'm looking at I want to do some crappie fishing. I want to spider rig, do some spider rig. That's why I want my seat here. It's because I want to spider rig all my poles off the front of this boat. Like that. I want to spider rig off the front of that boat into the lakes. And this will maximize, I can just sit here the whole time and drive the boat with the foot pedal and grab these poles off once I get a strike. And then, I got my motor that's going to sit back here. And I'm going to move this seat a little bit forward, up here. I'm going to move it up a little bit, this direction. And I'm going to put me an extension on my motor handle, so I can sit there comfortably and drive, steer the boat. Because honestly, if I do it this way, I'll have more room. I will have more room for storage. This way, I can put a nice cooler here against this wall. I could put, I don't know, whatever, all kinds of stuff. I could really run the whole deck all the way to almost to this front seat and just have this little space to work with. But I don't know. Just let me know what y'all think in the comments, what I should do. I'll put it to a vote. My first video is like, oh, you shouldn't do, you should do, whatever. I don't care at this point. I just want to try to gain viewers. So my next boat, maybe I can do what I want to do. Like if I start getting enough subscribers. And that's right, you need to put that like and thumbs up, thumbs up, like this video, because, I'm going to work hard on this thing. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. I'm going to try to be cutting. I'll be cutting in this episode. I'll be cutting out the floor, cutting everything out, and showing you what the stringers and the real inside of the boat is going to look like. All right. Peace out.